In today's tutorial, we are going to make a kind of a techno ambience. So this type of ambience probably you would find like a Recondite tracks, or if you go a bit more ambient style techno tracks, you still have this like a rumble kick, but on top of that you will have this really nice weird dark background in behind, and I really like to enjoy that type of tracks. But let's sit down and create a bit darker ambience for your darker techno sounds. So to create this type of really dark ambience in techno tracks, you have to have this dark kick sound. You have to pick your sample carefully. So let's take a look. I think this basic kick will be fine. I think it's a bit too snappy, so we are going to fix that. I'm going to put an auto-T here to begin with. So what I'm going to do, basically push this one down. Push the volume down. At the moment we are actually also kind of compressing the mids and lows, so what I'm going to do, bring this up. Volume down. I think this way you get more darker balance kick, but I think that's not enough. So what I'm going to do, pick a EQ. I think I can play a bit more. From that snappy kick, we are getting to this darker kick. And once we are done this, I will cut it short and just go to my rumble. And what I'm going to do, this is one of the easiest way to get a rumble actually. What you can do, basically listen it from the original kick, in this case the kick 3. And then we are going to put this in so that it's like a monitor. So we are going to hear the kick here as well. And then here I'm going to pick it the post effects so that actually I can hear it while I'm playing, even though I turn this off. So what I mean, if I saw this now, I will be still hearing the kick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a delay and put it kind of with on the low end side and push it down to the 1. So it will really be repeating, and we're going to put it the 100% met. It has this kind of really nice kick. Afterwards, I'm going to put an amp so that I can distort the sound a bit more. This sounds quite dirty. I know it sounds a bit too much at the moment, and we're gonna fix that. We're gonna put an EQ, cut really heavily. And of course, you cannot make a rumble kick without a reverb, so we are gonna just grab reverb. I will put it before the amp, but you can also put it after the amp. It really depends on what you want to amplify. If you put it before the amp, then you get a bit more harmonics. I'm going to volume down a little bit now. And I feel like it's a bit too bumpy, so I'm going to do like... Very good. And then at the moment, when the kick hits, actually we are not doing anything, so we have to solve that issue. I'm going to do put a compressor here and sidechain to the kick. And let's do it like a look ahead so that we start ducking before the kick hits. But the things that we can do extra, probably put a limiter to smooth out this like a dynamic range of the low end, because this will be not like a hardcore techno track, this will be more like an ambient techno track. So we want the rumble, but we don't want it really heavy. So what I'm going to do to start with, just to add a drum bass to see if I can make it a bit slightly grittier. Good. And then finally, I'm going to put a limiter. This option is optional. So ceiling will be like -7 dB, so that we are going to get that ceiling pretty fast. just like that. Now we can tune a little bit more. I feel like we can cut a bit the highs a bit more in Pro. And maybe drive a bit even more. Again, the main idea is basically getting this super dark low end, but letting that not dominate the overall sound. And afterwards, we are gonna get kind of a tom sound and try to make interesting, let's say, percussive sound from it. So what I'm going to do, basically, I'm gonna put a MIDI channel here and just search for a tom. I tend to call them Tommy, my favorite tom. So let's take this one. And let's get the bass note. I think we are in the E or something. So let's put that. And this should be on the offbeat. So that should work fine if we play it now together. It's fine and nice, but it's too deep. You barely hear it. We have to make it a bit more percussive. So I'm thinking like, right, let's put an erosion and take that noise option here and boost a bit here. Try to come up with sweet spot so it gets really noisy. And then what I would like to do, put an EQ for sure. See if I can actually exaggerate a bit those lows. I'm feeling that's a bit too snappy. Let's put an attack in the beginning. Let's put in the one shot as well. And I feel like this is a bit too clean. So let's add a saturation here and try to distort a bit more. Just like that. Let me add a glue compressor too to grab that super lows. And make it really, really dark. And we have this nice groove going on. The only thing that I'm considering now, maybe sidechain this guy over here to the tom, so that we give that tom a bit more space so that we don't need to boost the sound too much. Sounds good and cool, but probably we need a bit groove progression to make the sound a bit better. So what I'm thinking now is basically activating the EQ. Maybe a bit glue. And I just realized that actually we are doing all these things in 120 BPM, so let's increase that one a little bit more. Yeah, I think we have some really nice low end going on. Again, you can spend a bit more time, a bit more stuff here, but this is not the main purpose of the video. I have a couple of Rumble videos, so I will add them here so that you can take a look and see a bit more advanced versions. But this one I think is good enough for a minimal part. The important thing over here is actually creating first a really dark ambience. So to do that, I'm just gonna put a serum here, pick something like I can probably modulate a bit more, a wavetable, something like have a smooth movement, something like this should be fine. And I'm gonna put a filter on top of that. And I think this kicks and everything is in D, so then this should be in F. Let's put this into the D, and let's maybe put this here. And I'm thinking like more or less smooth chord progression, so I'm gonna do like this and put this one just a note above, and we should have some nice sound going on. So let's play one more time. So I want to have this kind of up and down feel. So that's the reason that I'm going to put this kind of almost ramp and then go down and play around with the wavetable a bit. And make it a bit slower. You can definitely hear this subtle change in the sound, but it's not right in the front. So, and that's the thing that you will be looking for, creating this kind of really ambient techno feel. Let's put it into the... I think everything is a bit too volumed up, so let's bring this a bit down. We can find something also a bit more interesting here. Feel almost how it plays with the tom sound, this, especially this movement. And these subtle patterns really make the track, and they are really, really important, even though it's like tiny things. Let's say a bit distortion, a bit compression, with reverb. Let's play with the phaser as well and the derive it so that we can make the phaser a bit obvious while keeping the same pattern. And then of course we are gonna cut a bit lows here. And then we are gonna use basically, or I should have it on the group, so let's just here. Let's side chain the kick. Again, it's really subtle, but it is really giving the idea. And then what I'm going to do, that is actually the sound that my Patreon was asking to me to make this kind of a movement. Simply, actually, that is a very simple technique that I do a lot in my tracks, and it also gives a lot of feel to the track. So we can start with this. This is simple notes, and let's put this one octave above as well, like that. And I'm gonna just put analog just to show you that, like, it doesn't matter which synth that you are using or which sound source that you are using. It's more important thing is actually how you are processing it. So I'm gonna keep it this way, bring it down a little bit here, give a bit of resonance. And maybe let's make it like, like this, longer. It will just keep repeating the same notes. Again, not really that important because we are going to play around a bit more. You just need to get a bit harmonics here and a bit more like nuances, and that will be enough. So what I'm going to do, put a vocoder on top of that, and I'm going to put a pitch track in. Take a look what happens now. Really not much, simply because we are in the toe dark notes, so I'm gonna push this up a little bit. I think these around is a bit better, but I'm going to put down the drive a little bit. A bit here, do a bit formant. Do you start to hear this resonant on the high end? That is really important. That is the thing that we are going to play around a bit. That is more than enough, really. Then that comes to this fun part, and the fun part is just grabbing this one, and you're gonna play around, and you're gonna put down the volume so that you can barely hear it. And once you start moving this around, it will create this kind of nice tension in the background. So let me do it. You will understand a bit better. So let's play. Do you see what I'm doing? It's super obvious and super easy as well, but a lot of people overthink this stuff. So what I'm going to do, click this button so that I can actually record the automation, because this one is actually automating the resonance and the frequency at the same time. It's harder to do that. So I'm just playing with the mouse. I'm going to hit record button, and I'm going to record this moment. I think that's more or less enough. What I'm going to do now, just click everything here, and we are going to simplify the envelope. So if you want to play around later on, which I'm going to do as a last step, you can do it a bit more easily. The same thing here, the resonance. There's a bit too much like the dots over there. We're going to do the same thing over there. Simplify envelope. Play one more time. I'm even thinking turning this off. The one thing is missing now is actually additional reverb and giving it a bit more ambience and making it a bit more pleasant. So this is what we are going to do. Now what I'd like to do, put another EQ and make it even darker. Then you can come back and fine-tune the things that you like to fine-tune. The final step could be adding a slight glue so that we are decreasing that dynamic range slightly. Really, really nice. The things that you can do here, I will say the endless. You can put any noises. The thing that I find is always interesting is like putting a simple sound and resonating it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me quickly kind of illustrate it to you. What I'm going to do, duplicate this so keep everything intact. But I'm going to delete this here. And what I'm going to do, find the, let's say, white noise, like a long one. Yeah, this is good enough. Like, I really don't care too much. So I'm going to put it here. And this one. Doesn't have much, right? But what we are going to do, we are going to put a resonator put it here. We can actually turn the vocoder a bit off here because we don't really need that much. Again, the important thing over here is actually playing around with the root note. We are in the D, let's pick a D and then put another in 12. We can even make it more interesting by 24 if you like to. And then let's turn the others off to see what happens. Make it more. Let's play with the track. What we can do, make it even less like a dynamic, so we can add a glue here and catch those super dynamics. Like that. Again, this is your creativity. This is like what I would call your playground. So you play around and you try to find a nice way. For now, I'm going to turn this off simply because I want to keep this really super simple in the behind and take it from there. And now we're going to create this kind of a bit more simplistic hi-hat sound. So what I'm going to do, try to find some kind of a bit more, slightly more organic, but still simplistic hi-hat sound because you don't want to have super bright hats over here. So what I'm going to do, go Production Music Live. Let's pick something from probably from the Deep Premium. Yeah, this should be fine. Let's go there. Hi-hats closed. This is really simple. Like take that. Like this one passed quite well actually. Probably I will send this to the room reverb. I think I have somewhere here. Let's open up a bit so it's not super dark. Here I will probably add a little bit like a more kind of percussions or a bit more like a slightly shakers and just complete the main background or the main ambient feel to it. So let me quickly do that and come back. All right, I just added this guy over here, a bit more ambient, like a white noise feel. This one basically a sample from Production Music Live. I add a lot of delay, reverb, cut the highs, overdrive, compress, and then sidechain the kick. So we have this the sound, and I did really a bit shaker. Sounds like this. Really organic, not really much here neither. And the one final thing I did, I changed that moving thing a bit. I recorded one more time, and it sounds like this now. I changed automation slightly, basically, and yeah, it looks a bit more the same idea, but it's a bit smoother, if that makes sense, and a bit less reverb, I think. And it sounds like this. Take a look. Basically, this gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want to do. This is kind of a really nice techno background that you can utilize. And from here, you can add maybe lead sound. Maybe you can go a bit more percussive and add more percussions, or you may maybe go with the more ambient feel and add more pads and so on. From this point, you can take wherever you want. I think it is a good starting point. But other than that, if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel because that helps a lot. And I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.